I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to FinextraTV. Kindly calling into our virtual studio today is Bargav Balakrishnan, Director, Global Head of ISV Ecosystem at IBM Z. So Bargav, thank you very much for calling in today. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah. Great to be here, and thank you for this opportunity.
No problem at all. It's lovely to have you. So today we're discussing how hybrid cloud and AI are helping to accelerate digital transformation and application modernization, which is a really big topic at this year's SunTech conference. So to give our audience some context, application modernization is a key focus for financial institutions who are on their digital transformation and cloud journey, which I know IBM's hybrid cloud and AI strategy is helping clients with, and hopefully we'll hear a bit more about that further down the line. But to kick things off and set the scene, could you run us through some of the factors driving financial institutions to accelerate their digital transformation and cloud journeys today? Let's start there.
Yeah, happy to do so. So, if I take a step back, and I'm sure it's the theme of everyone's discussion at the conference. If I think about it, the traditional vertically integrated world of banking is changing forever, and I think this is happening for a few reasons, right? So one is, the traditional models of banking are under increased profitability pressure, driven largely by the low margin environment and declining interest incomes on core products due to the rate environment we're in. So I think that's maybe factor one. I think the second thing is that banks are, faced with an ever-changing set of emerging imperatives. Some are regulatory oriented, some are just digitally oriented, things like the open PSD2, et cetera, which really start to stress existing operating models, technology and cultures in terms of, adaptability and responsiveness to meeting some of those changes. And I think the third key trend factor, if you can call it, is sort of the emergence of big tech. And I think emergence of big tech is essentially, it's creating an existential threat to the industry. So if you look at what the pandemic, which we're all living and breathing today, has done, is essentially, really raised the customer experience and customer expectation bar across all digital interactions, regardless of activity, right? So regardless if you're purchasing something on Amazon for your family, or ordering food via Grubhub, DoorDash, or Grab, et cetera, or you're conducting a series of banking related activities like securing a loan, making a payment, et cetera, customers want and expect to perform all these activities on a smartphone, right? And are looking for instant gratification. Again, whether it's receiving your packages within an hour or immediate approval of a loan or insurance, that's the new normal we're living in. And so due to these trends and forces, as I said, the traditional vertically integrated world of banking is changing. And I think in its place are really emerging sort of new business and operating models, which really start to emphasize the role of the ecosystem and the accelerating effect that decomposition and partnerships can start to have on delivering value through digital. And to that effect, we're thrilled from an IBM perspective to have partnerships with best of breed vendors like SunTech, that provide relationship-based pricing solutions for our clients, and these are critical in delivering customer value.
So you've highlighted there some of the big changes, especially in the year just gone. So what then are some of the challenges, but also opportunities, banks and financial institutions can expect along the way? What's along their journey?
Yeah, good question. So I would say, there's a study that was done by McKinsey & Company that was, commissioned by IBM. But this study essentially showed that, most enterprises, so given the trends that we just spoke about, obviously clients are not sitting still, they're reacting to that change and trying to address some of the requirements out there. So, regardless of that, most enterprises today are only 20% of the way into their cloud journeys, right? And as I said, the forces driving those changes are well known. It's the need for customer centricity, continuous innovation, et cetera, et cetera. But the question is, why is that? Why is a single cloud transformation or a single cloud transformation strategy resulting in 20% value creation to date? Some of the challenges that prevent additional value extraction from this approach really come from the fact that digital historically referred to the self-service channel only, whereas more recently digital really extends to all aspects of the customer interaction lifecycle, which all of a sudden has ramifications on every part of your tech stack, not just the front-facing or customer-facing applications. So the inability to efficiently generate and flow current consumable information, such as customer and transactional information from core systems to hybrid cloud applications, that's an important consideration when you think about extending digital to all aspects of your tech stack. So what this essentially means is it starts to put focus on the need to have to modernize and reimagine business processes that have been built on a certain way of doing it and have been built on systems that clients have in place today. I think the additional challenges or requirements rather are around unique workload requirements, such as security, such as compliance, such as data residency, data location. What that means is that many enterprises, can't easily move data around or adopt one singular sort of strategy, right? And I think the last factor probably preventing some of that additional value extraction from that one strategy is we are in a multi-cloud and multi-vendor world, right? So managing some of the challenges and managing the complexities associated with that becomes critical. So given that, we have found that clients, and the study backed this up, that clients are really leveraging a true hybrid platform approach, and that can get up to about 2.5x more value than a singular cloud approach. And this is what IBM sees as the opportunity. We see it as a $1 trillion opportunity, and it's something we're maniacally focused on and helping our clients really embrace that opportunity.
So, there's a lot to consider, isn't there? So let's get some of your advice now. What approach would you recommend financial institutions take in order to drive and accelerate digital transformation and avoid those mistakes?
Yeah. So, if I take a step back, and kind of from exactly kind of the business unit I'm in, much of the world's critical businesses and governments, systems, et cetera, run on kind of the IBM Z platform. And the reason, the IBM Z platform and various, IBM products, et cetera, the reason is simple, right? It's the need for sort of this secure, modern, reliable platform, and that's still paramount, right? So, 67 of the Fortune 100 clients run on the platform, 45 of the top 50 banks, 8 of the top 10 insurance, et cetera, et cetera. And so, and the reason that's important is because you need technology as a starting point for transformation, right? And so for these clients, it's all around embracing a hybrid cloud approach and realizing that 2.5x value, but embracing this hybrid cloud approach with Z. So what most of our clients are doing they're taking approaches that include either kind of core application modernization or expansion of their ecosystem in order to unlock that value. Now, one important note is all these strategies and approaches are not mutually exclusive, and they ultimately depend on, specific use cases and ROI, right? And one client might do one thing, which is completely different. The journey is unique. The journey is specific. So one approach that we see is really around transforming existing core systems. So often, if you think about it, right, clients over many years, decades, have invested significantly in their technologies from the perspective of IP, customization, software, hardware, high availability, skills, people, right? In addition, these systems have been built to run extremely efficiently with very high rates of throughput and scale while delivering unparalleled security and availability. So thus leveraging in-place application modernization strategies to selectively analyze applications, start modularizing the core, go from monolithic to refactoring the microservices, starting to introduce the right granularity of APIs and selectively and incrementally rewriting is an approach that, or are aspects within this approach which present a very nice risk-reward profile. So that's one approach we see. Another approach we see is extending the core through integration with ecosystem vendors and the fintech players, right, such as SunTech. So here, there are key vendor solutions capabilities like SunTech I just mentioned and many others that are available today that are not traditionally part of the system of record, but they're rather in the distribution, product, or omni-channel aspects of the banking taxonomy as defined by BIAN. and our clients are looking to leverage in order to reimagine processes. So here it's around how do we enable that efficient and real-time integration between core data and transactions and the payload to these ecosystem vendors and partners through things like Kafka streaming platforms, REST-based APIs, et cetera. The last approach we typically see is what I would say progressively modernizing by the core by selectively updating an aspect of the core. So they're ecosystem partners that provide solutions in the systems of record arena, either for a total solution or more likely an aspect of the system. So think, their DDA module, their corporate lending module, right? It's never a big bang replace due to the risk reward profile. So in these cases, when ISV package solutions are chosen for a specific module, co-locating that solution with their existing IT infrastructure allows them to take advantage of the investments, but also co-locate and address the latency, the security, and all of the different SLA requirements banks still are forced to meet. So these are just some of the approaches we see, and as I said, no one size fits all, but this is kind of what we see bubble to the top.
Well, I think it's fair to say watch this space. Some really interesting work being done at IBM. And thank you so much for summarizing and explaining quite an intricate topic today. And looking forward to hearing more from the conference. But we'll leave it there today, Bargav. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah. Appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity, and always a pleasure to speak to your client base.